All right. What is going on, everybody on YouTube? Griffin here, coming back to you guys with another live stream from the Millennial Motivation Entrepreneur YouTube channel. First and foremost, before we get going, if you're new to the channel and tuning in for the first time, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button below if you like what you see here. Of course, during the stream, after it uploads, whenever, if you're into the stock market and looking to just maybe make another source of income, or maybe one day go full-time, that's what we're all about here, all about achieving financial freedoms. And we have a Discord group chat that's down in the description box. It's totally free. Everything with this channel is not charged whatsoever. I do not charge for anything associated with this channel, and probably never will, just because I do not like the overall morale towards people who charge for stuff. Had a pretty crazy day today, and we're gonna break it all down. You can obviously see SPY kind of was just, again, trying to figure out what he wanted to do the first hour, 1 to 3 hours of the day. And then we had this massive dump. And of course, you guys know my trading style. I look for these dumps essentially to look at for an entry point to hop in. So we can see right here, and I'm going to go over my trades and everything here in a second. But you can see here where it went oversold. Obviously, we had a big move to the downside. We dropped literally about 60 cents or so within a period of a minute, which for SPY is a very big move. I mean, you can see overall on the 2-3 minute overall, we dropped almost $1, which was it was about 0.3% to the downside move that we had in a period of 3 minutes. So I mean, that was a very big move to the downside. When you see a move this big, it's just screaming, pick me up, scalp me. You're going to make a quick 10 to 30% within a period of minutes. Which is obviously what I was trying to do. I happened to catch this right as I was at work. So you're probably thinking, well, you had some big profits then, right? And let's go ahead and take a look at my Robinhood account right now. So you can see overall, we only did $60 on the day. So what the hell happened? So you can see literally right at, let's just go ahead and go over to my account summary so you can see exactly when I got in, all that good stuff. You can see, let's see if we can scroll down a little bit. So we got in 30 contracts this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. It shows at 11:40 a.m. Eastern. So on mine, it'll show 10:40 on our Thinkorswim platform, of course. So you can see here, this is 11:40. This is the big downward candle, right? So you're probably wondering, well, what time did you get in? Did you get in as it started dropping? Did you get in? No, I literally had caught this right below. You can see there was actually a low, like a wick on the candle. I actually got it somewhere, it was around, when I placed the order, it was at like 287.65, 66, somewhere on there, pretty much right near, close to the bottom of the overall candle, close to the low of the day. So you're probably wondering, well, how'd you not make a lot more money? And that's where it gets interesting. So you guys know I've talked about this multiple times. It's a combination of things. One, Robinhood. We all know anyone that's traded options on Robinhood for more than essentially a week knows that Robinhood always lags on option prices. And whenever you're doing these scalps, I mean, you're talking seconds can mean dollars. And when you're trading these bigger contract sizes, 30, I mean, isn't even really that big of a size, but anything over really like 5 to 10 contracts, it can be harder to get filled, especially on Robinhood. And let's just put it this way. I'll just show you guys real quick again. We got in at 68 cents. Now, that was the price it was showing me. The actual price was, if it'll hurry up and fucking load, the actual price, I started out on the trade down, it was like $150 to $200, something like that. So just do the math, 30 contracts. I think the actual price was at right around 60 to 62 cents the time that I bought. So from the price it showed me versus the price it actually was off by 8 cents per contract. 6 to 8, I believe it was 8 cents. Maybe it was 6. It was like 60, 62 cents. Either way, a big difference. So 6 times, even if it was only 6 times 30 contracts, that's $180 in the hole. You're starting out right out of the bat, and you can see I was down 210. Kind of wrote it up to about break even, minus 30. That should have been in the green at that point. Point being though, I mean, this trade just, killed me for the whole day. What should have been, I was going to be out at this point, literally it was going to be like a 20-minute trade or less. So just look from this period, down 6.2% on the total account. Obviously I didn't use my total account on the trade, but from minus, pretty much I would have had total account balance wise about a $200 to $300 to the upside move. And if I would have held all day, it would have been like $300, $400 profit. But it was just frustrating all around. I was down at one point all the way down minus 420. So again, that's where you have to have confidence in your trade going in. Have the psychology to not dump at the low of the day, or low of the day, so to speak, from the option standpoint. Obviously, it wasn't necessarily the low of the day, but you can kind of see approximately where it was. But I stuck with the trade because I knew over time SPY would pull back up. It wouldn't matter if it was when. And of course, usually around the last 10 minutes or so, again, it's like seeing the same movie. You see the pump near the end of the day. I went ahead and sold right around this point for around $60 of profit. Very, very frustrating trade overall, but the fact that we had almost a $500 turnaround on the trade, I can't really complain at the end of the day from that standpoint for how bad it could have been. But it's just, you got to be super, super careful when you're doing these options, especially on a shitty platform like Robinhood. It's free for a reason. It gets frustrating. Those of you in Discord know I was not a happy guy there for a few hours. And I kind of felt bad too, because there were a few of you asking questions about certain stocks, and I was just so pissed off and so tuned into SPY I couldn't even really answer, because I was literally obsessed with SPY for pretty much the whole afternoon, where the trade should have been about a 20-minute trade from here to here. I would have made $200 to $300. I probably would have sold somewhere up here, in all honesty, and made a quick little 150, something like that. $5 per contract times 30 contracts, $150. Boom, got out within 10 to 20 minutes. But it was a stressful day, to say the least. I mean, I'm not going to put the total blame on Robinhood, because like I mentioned, I believe in Discord too. I was in an area, it wasn't that I had no service, obviously, but the service, let's put it this way, from the LTE standpoint, 4G LTE, I had 4 to 3 bars going in and out between 4 to 3, and for my phone, for the iPhone, I believe it shows, what, out of 4? Out of 5, so I mean, I didn't necessarily have the top end best service, obviously. So pretty much what I'm just doing going forward to keep myself from being in this situation again is, if I'm pretty much not at home, like if I'm not, or not necessarily at home, but like if I'm not to where my signal is literally at max strength, or I'm at home literally, I'm just not gonna, if I miss out on an opportunity like this, it'll suck. But I mean, I'd rather miss out on an opportunity than experience another potentially minus, because I mean, honestly, a little bit of it was luck today. I didn't know 100% sure, obviously, that SPY was going to eventually pull back up to end the day. It could have continued to drain after that initial flush. But overall, I mean, I'm bullish on the market still short term. I do think we're getting close to running out of steam. I think we're going to touch 290 and then ultimately go down. I thought 300 for a while, but just based on recent patterns I was looking at, I got a feeling we're going to come close to all-time highs, fail, and then we're going to see our first correction of the year. That's my set in stone opinion. That's not going to change this time. I think we're going to hit around 290. We might not even hit 290. I think we got pretty close to that already recently. I didn't mean to do the 180. We hit 289. So, I mean, we got pretty close to 290 already, but I think we're still probably going to get one little last pump up to around 290, maybe even 291. But I think we'll come up just short of all-time highs before we get our first true flush of the year, our first little correction. But so what am I going to do then? Because obviously I do have a full-time job. Pretty much, since I do have a full-time job where my schedule is flexible and I can kind of not move customers around, but take advantage of hours of my day. I'm pretty much, because I get on average 12 to 13, sometimes 14 customers per day that I have to go to. I'm going to get my first 7 done, usually by 11, between 11 and noon Central Time. And then with that time period, what I'll do, the next period doesn't start until 1 p.m. So what I'll do is I'll come home, usually between 11, 11:30 a.m., Central Time. Again, just for those of you that might get confused, I am in Central Time, U.S. Central, which is 1 hour behind Eastern. I believe 2 hours above the West Coast and 1 hour past Mountain Time, I believe. But I'll come home around 11:30, and then I'll literally sit here for a couple hours, 2 hours, and trade. And because that'll be like my lunch, so to speak, because my work has been really hard on us about taking lunches. So I mean, hey, I'll take a good little 2 hour lunch then, since I got the time anyways, and I'll come home, trade. Usually within a 2 to 3 hour period. I mean, we have 1 or 2 instances of oversold conditions happening, so then I'll go ahead and play it. I might even try to do some live streams with that. We'll just kind of feel it out and see how it goes tomorrow and over the next week, and I'll figure out if I'm going to stream it or anything like that. But I'm just going to pretty much make sure that I have great signal, make sure that I am getting the exact price that it should be selling for, not Robinhood showing me. And I mean, I was making sure, because those of us that trade on the Robinhood mobile platform, you know that sometimes when you go from Thinkorswim back to Robinhood on an iPhone at least, a lot of times Robinhood will kind of lag and you kind of have to back out of the price and then go back in and it'll show you the actual updated price. I was doing all that. I did all of it like I normally would, and it still showed it was 68 cents. It actually showed it was 70 cents, and I got filled for 68. So, I mean, just imagine how much worse it would have been if I gotten filled at 70. I wouldn't even made money today. I would have broke even because I sold at 70 cents. So, you just got to be very, very careful when trading on Robinhood, especially with bigger contract sizes. I mean, honestly, once my account gets back up to a certain amount of money, I'm going back to Tastyworks, just because with Tastyworks, I never had that problem with Tastyworks. It was up to date. Even when I didn't have like the best of best service, Tastyworks, I never had an issue with getting filled at a good price on the buy side or the close. That was the other thing. When I was trying to close this position, it was showing 71 cents. I took the 70 side. It still took 3 minutes just to fill the order. Again, I know it's a little bit bigger of an order, 30 contracts, but it's not a huge order at the end of the day. It should have got filled within a minute, but it took like 3 minutes. It's just, a lot can happen. 3 minutes might sound like not a lot, but 3 minutes when you're trading these short-term contracts, it can mean a world of difference. Just sit there and watch those contract prices and you'll understand. Those of you that trade this way know exactly what I mean. So, I mean, God, I definitely won't be using Robinhood much longer. You guys know about a year ago, I even did a video about why I ditched Robinhood to go to Tastyworks. The reason why I hopped back into Robinhood was because originally I just wanted to start getting my skin in the game, trading again, because, how's it going there, Alfredo LP? Besides, it's actually ridiculous, but Tastyworks is about half of what TD Ameritrade's is. Tastyworks is like, it's literally a platform that was built specifically for options trading. If you guys don't know what Tastyworks is, by the way, I believe I have a link maybe in the description box down there if you want to check it out. The link like lays out all their commission structure and all that. And I mean, I never really had an issue getting filled at a good price or anything like that. The only one time I had an issue with Tastyworks was when it was my own fault. I literally had like no service and my order wouldn't get filled. I think their app was going through an update at that time too, so that probably didn't help. But I mean, that's by far my favorite platform. I like the guys that are running that platform too. I like supporting kind of the I won't even really call them a small business now. They're a pretty big organization. But if you guys want to check them out, that's in the description box too. You can call and lower your rates. Yeah, I guess, but I'll just stick with Tastyworks. I'll probably use the more that I'm looking at for futures, I probably will use TD Ameritrade for futures longer term in the next year, next 6 months to a year. But for options, I'll probably stick with Tastyworks. But for futures, I'll probably go with either Interactive Brokers or TD Ameritrade, just because they seem to have the best reputation for futures. There's a couple other ones out there, but I don't know, like Ninja Trader and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother subject. But yeah, I mean, with Robinhood, you gotta be really careful. You gotta, I mean, you can literally see what happened. I mean, got filled at a horrible price, down 210. Looked like we were about to go bullish again, held, ended up going down. I actually missed these 2 points. If I had seen these, I probably would have just... Actually, I think I did see one of them because I mentioned it in Discord that I was at break even and how the trade got all messed up. But I didn't see it the second time. If I had seen this the second time, I probably would have went ahead and covered, just chalked it up as a loss of a day trade, moved on. But you can see, I mean, I was down $420. And that's a whole nother subject. I mean, when you get into this, would you have the stomach? Would you have the psychological power over yourself from, because there's a lot of people right here, right here, right here, right here on the way up. Go ahead and cut the losses while it's going up, while it's still up a little bit. Like, would you have the power to stick with your trade, have faith in your trading style that you know what you're doing essentially? Now, I'm not saying whenever a trade's down, should you just keep bag holding it all the way down? No, I mean, I cut losses on Apple, and that was what, about $100 loss, something like that. I mentioned that the other day. I mean, I'm all for cutting losses. You guys know that. But when I was confident, what really made me confident in the trade was not only how SPY was moving, but I even saw a little double bottom within the options prices, which, at least from my experience, I don't really see too often. I mean, you can see we had one right here as well, and then it obviously went up a little bit. But when I seen that, I was like, okay, we might have something going here. And then literally throughout the afternoon, we slowly but surely just kept pulling up. Now, I'm not saying just look at your option price chart to make your decision, obviously, but just a lot, 99, I don't say it enough, actually. I would say 90 to 95% of trading is psychology, 5 to 10% of it is actual skill. Because that's why I tell everybody. Everybody's like, man, trading sounds so difficult, it's confusing. I'm like, it's really not, especially when you're scalping. Just look for a heavy oversold condition, scoop up some cheap calls, ride it up for a few minutes, make a quick few percent, which depending on how much money you're playing with is a couple $10, couple $100, couple $1,000, depending again on your account size and the position size you take. Make your money, get out, you're done for the day. It's not that hard. It's not rocket science at the end of the day. It's just a matter of waiting, being patient, and keeping control of your feelings, just your overall psychological state, essentially. Inside, it's just a head game at the end of the day. But just because it was a pretty stressful day, to say the least. I can't believe I managed to keep my cool at work. It was probably a good thing most of my customers weren't home while I was trading their homes today. But I mean, it was stressful, to say the least, but we managed to squeak out some profit. I'm not necessarily happy with the profit. I know it should have been at least a couple $100, but the fact that we had about a $500 turnaround, I'll take it. I mean, you can see, again, we were under $3,000 on the account. We're back over 3,400, and we have another day trade tomorrow. And like I said, I'll probably try to at least be home to do that day trade this time. So hopefully tomorrow we can, I pretty much shoot for around 4 to 5% on these scalp options. Sometimes, I mean, today's profit was a little under 2%. I mean, we can even calculate it real quick if you guys want. Let's go into the history. So, I mean, we made, I don't know why it's not scrolling down. Let's see. So, it was $60 off of a $2,040 investment. So, 60 divided by 2,040. I mean, is that right? I didn't think it was actually 2%. Did I calculate that wrong? $60 divided by 2,040. Okay, so I mean, I guess it was about 3%. But I mean, I literally try to shoot for around like 4 to 5%. Like I said, some trades obviously are a little less, some are a little more. On Friday, I had that trade that was around 7 to 8% profit. I mean, I just try to average somewhere around a 4 to 5% profit on these scalps. Again, I try to get out fairly quickly. I mean, like I said, I got a full-time job like most of you. I got stuff I got to do. I can't be sitting here focusing on my trade all day like I did today. It just compounds with the stress of work, obviously, all that stuff. I mean, I just want to get in and out fairly quickly, make my house money, and move on. But I shoot for 4 to 5%. So, I mean, tomorrow let's say I take about the same position size, let's just say roughly a $2,000 trade, say I can do somewhere around 5%, that would be about a $100 trade is what I kind of shoot for. Again, I usually buy somewhere around minimum 15 contracts, maximum usually around 30 right now. So I mean, if I can get 30 contracts, on average I get about a $4 move. You can look at it from a percentage standpoint or the dollar movement as well. From a dollar movement standpoint, I usually make about $4 per contract on average. Obviously today's was only 2. A lot of times it's only 2, and then there's times where it's like 5 to 10, but on average it's somewhere around 4. So 30 contracts times 4, I mean 120. So I mean, I'm looking for somewhere between an $80 to $140 profit, possibly tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. I just can't stress enough, guys. Just be careful. Make sure that your price is right. If anything, I mean, go pull up another chart, like go into the TD Ameritrade app and look at the options chain. Obviously, it's going to change second by second, minute by minute. But if it's not super, super close in that 2 seconds that you're flipping through the apps, if it looks like Robinhood's is priced higher, then you know Robinhood's price is wrong 9 times out of 10. So just, again, I can't stress enough, be very, 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 very careful. I don't know how many of us, we got 5 of you tuning in. That's awesome. I mean, like I said, though, I can't complain. I mean, we still made about $60. I don't understand why every single time I make $60 ends up being like $59.80 something. Robinhood keeps claiming there's 0 commissions. I know there's actual like hidden trading fees and whatnot. It's just kind of funny that whatever. But either way, $60. So on the week so far, the last week, we're up right around $114. Again, the Apple trade is kind of what's making our trade, our past week, and not look quite as well. So it would have been up like $200 to $240, somewhere around there. I don't know exactly how much that loss was. I know it was like 100, maybe 120 max. But either way, I mean, we're still up on the last week, about $100. And I mean, I'm just sticking with SPY. Like I said, that Apple one, again, it taught me a lesson. Don't trade. Just stick with what works at the end of the day. Like I brought it up the other day. I hopped in Apple because I was out of day trades. I wanted to have some skin in the game going into Monday where I wasn't going to have to burn a day trade, but I was holding something from Friday. I thought Apple was going to come down. It looked heavy overbought to me, but Apple trades in its own little universe, apparently. It's got so many fanboys and everything, they just pump it up. So I just stick with what works, which is scalping the SPY options. When I run out of day trades, oh well. I mean, if I can make $60 to $100 on 3-day trades on average, that's still $180 to $300 a week on an account my size. I mean, that's $700 to $1,200 over a period of a month. So I mean, you're talking about 30% potential growth in a period of a month. So I'll just stick with what works at the end of the day. When I'm out of day trades, oh well, just take a couple days off. If I had a loss, recoup from it, learn something from it. And if I profit on all 3 of those trades on the week, then awesome. Just take a little 2-day vacation from trading and maybe do some paper trading on futures and whatnot, which I think I actually had a futures contract on my paper account on TD Ameritrade I need to take a look at, because I don't know if I ever closed it last night. But that's pretty much it for this stream, unless if you guys have any questions or anything. Like I said, I know we got about like 5 of you tuning in. I don't know if you guys have any questions, or if you're just tuning in and maybe wondering what exactly happened. I'll just do a little summary real quick. Like I said, we pretty much bought these contracts within SPY. It was showing on Robinhood that it was 70 cents. I got filled at 68, but it was telling me it was 70 cents per contract. The actual price at that moment was 62 cents per contract. So I started out 180 to 200 plus in the hole, which then we were kind of just fighting from there. We were down 420 because we just kept holding. And then eventually by the end of the day, we sold for $60 worth of profit, just a little over 2%, between 2 to 3% profit on that specific trade, which puts us up almost 2% on the day. So, I mean, it could have been a lot worse, obviously. Could have had a total flush, and then it would have been really bad news from there. But Thankfully, the trade went in my favor. I stuck it out. I was confident in my trade, and it at least played out and made me a little bit of money. So, I mean, I can't complain from that standpoint, but I just can't stress enough, you guys. If you're going to trade on Robinhood, I just wouldn't suggest trading big money on Robinhood. Anything under $5,000, probably you're fine for the most part from a position size standpoint. Like any trade under $5,000 with the options, you're fine. Like I said, with buying stock, you're usually fine with Robinhood. I haven't had an issue getting filled on good prices when it comes to actual buying stock on Robinhood. But when it comes to options, if you're taking position sizes over probably $4,000 to $5,000, it's probably safe to go with a better broker like Tastyworks or even TD Ameritrade. Just one of those companies that, I mean, you're paying, so they're going to give you the best fills, all that good stuff. And if you don't know what Tastyworks is, I mean, it's an amazing platform that's built specifically for options traders. It doesn't mean it's just options. You can trade futures now on there. You can trade futures options. You can trade just general stock, all that good stuff. And their commissions are pretty damn cheap, really cheap for options. So if you're interested in them, I have a link to them. I believe it's down in the description box. I believe that will lay out all their fees and all that stuff. And their YouTube channel is actually Tasty Trade, so if you want to kind of check them out before you actually check out their website, you can just search Tasty Trade on YouTube. They have tons of videos, tons of good videos for those of you looking to get into options. But on that note, I'll go ahead and wrap it up since it doesn't look like we have any questions. And like I said, if you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed the stream, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button below. We'd love to have you here. We now have over 600 of us. We finally hit 600 a day or two ago. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support over the last year or so that we've been doing this whole stock market thing. Just the journey to 1K plus continues, just always looking to build onto this community, and more so than the YouTube community, we're trying to build that Discord community as well. We now have about 80 members in there. That link for our group chat is down in the description box. If you're wondering, no, I do not charge for it. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't charge for anything. I'm not ever going to come out with some course of all my videos that are on YouTube for free already for $300 to $500 like some people. I'm just not going to do it. If I can just help people and all of us just kind of network and throw ideas off one another and help each other make money, that's the best return on investment in my opinion. But on that note, we'll go ahead and just wrap it up. Hopefully you guys stayed green today. Hopefully you guys had a little bit less stressful of a day than I did. And hopefully you're still staying green on the week. But until next time, guys, keep on going out there, making your profits, covering your profits, and achieving some financial freedom this year. And I will see you guys again probably sometime tomorrow for another trade update. Hopefully I'll be able to get a day trade in. Like I said, if I come home and I have enough time where I can literally do a live stock market video, like do some trading with you guys, that's the goal. If not, I'll at least do a recap just for the week and hopefully on another day trade. But until then, take it easy, guys.